Joes, welcome back to Journals in Time, and welcome if you're new. So today I'm going to be working with my Christmas Cuties kit. I have shown you this before on my channel and we are going to be doing something with that today. But first of all, I do want to go ahead and do the Zodiac journal drawings. So I missed last month's draw, so I said I was going to do 2 draws this month. So we have Scorpio and Sagittarius. The Sagittarius one is the larger format, looks like that, and I have a smaller format of the Scorpio one. So all the prints and tea dyeing and all that yummy, junky, vintagey goodness. I love it. There's some fabulous tea dye papers in here, and I don't know how I achieved these. I did them quite a while ago, and I don't know how I achieved them, but they look amazing. So yeah, those are the 2 journals we are drawing for. So the first one I'm drawing for is the Scorpio one. Okay, so I have included last month's videos and this month's videos for the drawing for the 2 of these. So I'm just going to, I'm not dividing them, if you know what I mean. So I have all the names here. We have 144 entries over the 2 months, which is awesome. So let me get my phone and my random number generator. I have it pulled up here. I just need to enter that we have 144 entrants and hit generate, and we have number 50. Number 50 on my list for the Scorpio journal is Haiku Barbie. That would be Ange. Ange, you've won. Hooray, hurrah. Hooray, Ange. I'm so happy that you won that. My lovely, you've been around quite a while with me. So let us get the one for the Sagittarius and let's hit generate again. Number 27. Number 27 is Susan Beck. Okay, so Susan and Ange, if you would both contact me, all of my contact details are below the video. So you should be able to contact me on any of those avenues, and I'll get your journals out to you guys. So that, guys, is the end of the 12 months of journals. I actually thought there should be a draw next month as well, but I've gone through and checked to see that I've done draws for all 12 of them, and I have. These are the last 2. So that is the end of the Zodiac draws. So how do you guys think that went this year? Did you like that the Zodiac journals were up for grabs every month? Is it something you were kind of maybe not that bothered about? Let me know in the comments below and I'll see if maybe I'll continue it next year. We shall see. Okay, so on to what we're doing today. So I have wanted to work with this kit since I brought it out, and I just didn't get a chance. So I put together a design team for this, and I am going to do a little slideshow right now of all of their makes. They have been absolutely amazing. So I'm going to put up a slideshow with pictures and their details on the screen, and I will put their details below the video as well. So do make sure and go and check out their channels. They're absolutely amazing crafters, so talented, and I was blown away by what they came up with the kit. So I was very inspired, and I am going to work with it myself. So a lot of the girls did folios, and I decided that I would like to try to hand out a folio with this as well. And the inspiration for the base of this came from May Crafts. Is it May, or May Made It, I think. May Made It Crafts, maybe. I'll put the link to the video below. And it is a Gatefold folio that we are going to be making. Okay, so I have some pieces prepped here. Now my measuring actually went slightly awry and I had to make some adjustments. I am going to give the measurements, but be aware that I'm using 16ths here because I made a bit of a boo-boo. You can obviously adjust the measurements for yourself. Okay, so this piece is the full 12 inches across. Now I've used a 12 by 12 pad for this, obviously. It is the Cricut Heritage paper pad. It's got a slight texture on one side and smooth on the other. Really nice cardstock. So that's what I'm using here. You can use whatever you have, whatever you want to use. So like I said, full 12 inches here. The height is 7 3/4 inches. And I have come in 1 3/8 of an inch here and scored. And I have come into 1 7/8 of an inch and scored. Turn it around and do the very same thing. 1 3/8 and score, 1 7/8 and score. And this is what we end up with, okay? So I have just folded up my score lines there just so that you could see what was going on. Okay, so that is that. Then we have these two pieces here. This has been cut down to 11, I thought it was 11 inches, just over 11 inches actually. They're both the very same. Come in 1/2 inch from each side and score. Can you see that? I'll be folding those very shortly anyway, that you'll be able to see. You can kind of see them there. 1/2 inch from this side, 1/2 inch from this side and score. Down from the top, make it the same as this piece. So we're coming down 7 3/4 inches and scoring here as well. And that is on both of these pieces, okay? So this is the very base of our piece. So the next thing we need to do, we need to take our scissors and we need to take a little notch out of here just to either side of that score line, like so. I'm going to do that on the other side, and I'm going to do the very same thing on the other piece, the same size as this one. Okay, so I have also gone ahead and taken the little notches off the top corners here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, now normally if I was making a piece like this for a junk journal, I would trim off these pieces here where we've scored all the ways up along. But for this piece, I am going to fold these back and glue them down on both pieces, okay? And that is because we are using these as the doors of our folio, and as much as possible, we want to get as much sturdiness in there as we can, you know. The less flimsy these doors are, the better. Now you could use a heavier cardstock if you wanted to, but I don't think there's any need. Once we just fold these back, they should be good to go. I am going to take a little notch, just a tiny notch off the top corner here as well on both of them, just to make sure there's no little overhangs there. There shouldn't be, but just it makes it look neater. So we're going to get these glued down. Okay, so they're looking good. And they won't be seen, so let's not worry about them anymore. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to fold in these little corners, and we're going to fold up our pocket and glue it in place. So get these little flaps folded in, fold it up, and we're going to put glue down either side of this, being careful that we're not putting so much that it's going to squish out and glue our pocket shut. And we're going to get that closed up. Now, this is the time to put a thumb notch in. If you want to put a thumb notch in, get your circle punch and put your thumb notch in, and away you go. I'm not doing one of those this time. Just have some furry bits there. So I'm going to get both of these glued up, and I'll be right back to you guys. Okay, so we have two pockets. Nice roomy pockets because of those gussets that we put in. So the next thing we need to do is get these doors put in place. Now, be very careful that you put these in the right orientation. The pocket needs to be facing up with this base piece flat down, no folds. With this base piece flat down, the pockets need to be facing up, because that's how it's going to look when the piece is opened. So when you fold it over like so, your pocket is going to be face down. So that is the way we need to glue it. We need to glue along this here and get it glued onto this flap at this side. So let's get doing that. Now, one note that I will say is when you're laying this down, make sure it's pushed right over to this crease here. And make sure you do it this way so that there is enough, we know then that there's going to be enough room for this crease to be able to fold nicely. And make sure that you're putting it on the score line that you're not folding over both the score lines, that it's just to the one that is closest to the edge of your paper. Okay, so we have a score line here and a score line here. We want to make sure that we have it on this score line here. Alright, so, and also when you're lining this up, make sure it's flush to your score line. But if there's any discrepancy in the height, so if this piece is going to be even slightly too long, make sure that you put that extra piece to the top so that we can trim it off later, because if you put it at the bottom and trim it, you're going to open up your pocket, okay? So just make sure if there is any little overhang, make sure it is to the top. So all I need to do is, I have that in position, just get my glue down here, glue it shut, and I'm going to swivel it around and do the very same thing with the second one, okay? Okay, so we have the very base of our piece done. It opens like so. We have a pocket and we have a pocket. Now, the next thing I want to turn my attention to, that you could do it in any order you want, but I want to turn my attention to what I want going on in here. And I have decided to kind of vary a little bit from what Mimi did on her video. And I'm going to use some envelopes because I have a plethora of envelopes. That word seems to be going around at the moment. Thanks, Rachel. But yeah, so I'm going to use these envelopes, and I am going to have these sitting here so that it just looks like one piece, but when we flip we have the actual envelopes, and I'm going to leave it so that the envelopes open like so. That's the wrong way around. So that will be sitting like that, and when it flips we have our flap here. And the same with this one. So I'm going to get these envelopes decorated. Now, one of the things that I definitely wanted to do was take the front panel from this and put it onto the front panel of this envelope. Now, this envelope I have die cut the flap of it, and that's just a die cut that I have. Did that come from Craspire? Not sure if it was Crossbar, but one of them. And I was playing around with it one day, just wanting to kind of try different things, and I did this on the flap of this envelope, and I think this will be perfect in here. It goes really well with the kit, but it is quite flimsy, so I will probably put something behind that. So I will be making pretty much a liner for the envelope, you know. So yeah, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get this panel cut out, okay? I just want this panel small enough to fit on here, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to position my envelope behind my envelope. Oh, this is so challenging to explain. So I'm positioning it behind the envelope. I'm holding it up to the light so that I can see where my envelope is being positioned. I'm going to lay that down like so, and I am going to mark around it where I want to cut. Now, I could stick it down and then cut around it, but you run the risk of cutting the edges of your envelope and opening it up, so I'm not going to get caught on that trap. Okay, so I have my panel cut for the front of my envelope. Now this is actually going to be upside down on the envelope because that's how it's going to appear in the folio. So that is going to sit on there like that. And I have cut a piece for my liner. I just literally opened the envelope, put it down on a sheet of paper, traced around it, trimmed it out, and just trimmed it as necessary to fit just inside this scalloped edge here. So it will look like this on the inside after getting it glued down. It'll have that little decorative edge. Okay, so that's going to be really pretty. Now the other thing I need to do is to cover this surface here. And hopefully that should fit nicely once we've got our envelope glued up again. Yes, that will fit nicely on there. It will wrap around like so. So it's going to be pretty. Let's see what it's going to look like with that in there as well. Oh, it's going to be awesome. Okay, so let's start gluing. Let's get this piece glued down. And I'm going to use Yes Paste on the base of this because it doesn't wrinkle papers. I'm going to show you what the Yes Paste is. I had a few people ask me about it. This is the glue that I talk about. It is called Yes Paste. It is available on Amazon. And I love it because it sticks your pieces down flat, similar to what the results you get with a glue stick. It's a much stronger glue. It is water-based, so it cleans up very nicely, but it doesn't wrinkle your papers. I don't know how it works. I don't know what kind of magic that is, but it works really well. Excuse me, really well. Now, it does seem pricey, but you are getting a lot of glue in the tub for the price you're getting it for. It will last for ages. I've had this for a few months now, and, you know, I've used little bits of it. It is messy to work with, but like I said, it does clean up with water. So that I'm going to use that down here, but because of the nature of this glue, it's extremely sticky, and it does actually take quite a while to dry as well, guys, just so you know. I am going to use my Allen's tacky glue from the bottle on these pieces so that I can put the glue on this surface rather than on the surface that we're putting on, if that makes sense. Just to keep it all neat and tidy and that there's not glue showing through these bits that can get stuff stuck on it and look ooky. Ooky. Technical term, ooky. Okay, so I'll get on with that and I'll be back. Okay, so I have the liner in, and actually after all my talk about the Yes Paste, I realised I didn't actually need to use it. It just needs to be tacked down on this part. As long as it's not lifting every time you're pulling something out, it's fine. It's not going to get caught on anything going in and out. So I have just tacked kind of around the edges and a little bit in the middle, and here we have it. And that's going to look very pretty when we're able to fold that up. I'm not going to fold it just yet. So let's get this part done. Now we need to close up our envelope again. So let's get that done. Beautiful. And let's get our other piece on. So this piece needs to go on next. Now I am doing very little inking at the moment, you may have noticed, but I have inked the edge of this, and I'm going to ink the edge of this, and I'm using hickory smoke on here. I'm not using the usual vintage photo or anything like that. Now there is some actual vintage photo on my sponge and it is coming through, but it is toned down very much by that hickory smoke. It's such a lovely colour, that nice kind of warm grey, and it works really, really well with this kit. I think it would work well with any kind of blue toned kit, to be honest, that colour. So that is that. So let's get that down there. It's going to look fabulous. Oh, I'm loving it. We're going to get this stuck down. Now we need to be careful not to get glue kind of inside here, so I am going to get my trusty contact paper. Hold it. Slip it in here so we're not getting glue all over the place. And I'm going to use my tacky glue for this, and I am going to glue this all over. Okay, so that's it glued down to the front, or I don't know, do you call that the front or the back of the envelope? I call it the back of the envelope, I don't know, it's so strange. Okay, so it's glued down to the part we need to glue down to anyway, and as you can see we have our overhang. I am going to miter those corners just very quickly. Get that cut off there, get that cut off there, and I'm going to do the same at these top corners here. Little overhang there that needed coming off. So yeah, you're able to kind of trim as well at this point, okay, if needs be. And we're going to get these folded over. I'm going to get those glued down, and then this will be on here, hiding all that untidiness, and it will be fabulous. Okay, so I have gotten that piece down. Isn't that looking pretty? That is so cute. And for now, I'm not doing anything here. I may decorate this up afterwards on this side. We shall see. But I'm loving how that looks. Ah, so cute. So I have wrapped it around. Now, the next thing we need to do is get this piece down, right? Make sure that you put this upside down on your envelope, because the envelope is going to be upside down as such in your folio. And when you flip it up, you're going to be able to use the actual flap. So this needs to appear right side up, so it will be upside down on your envelope. Okay, now, as I just spoke about flipping, we're going to need a hinge. So I think now is the ideal time to put a hinge in here. And I am just trying to figure out what I want to use for that, because it probably will be seen. Now there are ways to hide it. Do I want to go down that road? I think I actually might, just to show you guys what I'm thinking. Okay, so I'm going to get a piece of cardstock. I will put it full length. These are just some scrap pieces that I was cut off the other edges, and I was trying the different inks on it. So any kind of scrap pieces you want will work here. I would suggest cardstock as opposed to paper, just for that little bit of extra strength. I'm going to mark it there at the end. I'm going to get that chopped down and trimmed out to about an inch wide. Okay, so I'm going to make it this long, and I'm going to make it about an inch wide. Okay, so that is that piece. I have also scored it kind of along the middle, so we can fold it nicely. Let's get that burnished. And in order for that to burnish flat and nice, I'm actually going to fold it both ways and burnish. I just find that that helps it to lie flatter. It does stress the paper a little bit more, but I don't think this will get enough use that will matter. I mean, obviously it's one of the more usable parts in the folio. It depends on what you're using it for, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to miter those corners, just taking a little triangle off of each corner, just for the sake of neatness, like so. And I am going to ink these. Now, I'm hoping that these won't actually be seen in the end, but just on the off chance, I'm going to just ink the very edges of the slanted piece there. Okay. So we want to get this glued into place on here before we put down our front panel. Okay. I almost glued it on the outside of the hinge, but you need to glue it on the inside and sit it over the top of your envelope, okay? Like so, so that this piece is available then to be glued to our folio. Okay, so that is that looking good. I'm going to ink that, because that will probably be seen. Just a teeny tiny bit, but it makes all the difference when you have all those details. Right. So I'm going to get this down here like this. I am going to use the S paste on this piece, simply because it is just a large surface to get all that tacky glue on. It will end up wrinkling and drying too quickly and all the rest of that. You also have a little bit more wiggle room with the S paste, because it takes that bit longer to dry, and it is surprisingly fluid for a paste once you get it onto your piece. Okay, so I use a card to apply it. I just take a little piece out like this, and I spread it across the middle of my piece first, making sure I get good coverage. And if you're using a card, I have a tendency to lay my card flatter. Don't do that. Try and keep it as upright as you can. It simply gives you better coverage that way. I end up missing little spots if I lay it down too flat. So if you do get the S paste, there's a little tip for you. You can obviously use whatever glue you want to use here. This is just my preference. And a little goes a long way with this glue too. Get our piece and get this put down. Okay, I'm going to stand up for this. Even though, like I said, we have plenty of wiggle room with the Yes paste. Wow, that looks pretty good. How did I manage to get that done so quickly? Awesome. Awesome sauce. Okay, get it settled down there. And there we have it. Look how wrinkle-free that is. It just looks so perfect. I am just loving this glue. I really am. And I'm not being paid to say that, guys, just so you know. I know I'm going on about this glue, but it's because I genuinely am in love with it right now. So if you have any overhang, be very careful when you're trimming it off that you're not opening up your envelope. I have done that too many times to get caught with it again. Okay, I think that is that. Yay! So that is going to, oh, I'm after gluing it shut. No! So that is going to get glued down and it will flip up like this and we'll be able to use our envelope. So it will be in the back of our folio piece. It'll be one of the ones in the back of our folio piece. Okay. And I will flip up and we have our envelope ready to go. Okay. And I think that's just a really cute way to add these envelopes. Okay, so let's have a look and see what we want to do with the other ones. I do know that with this one, I want to cover it with fabric. So back when I released this kit, I had gone through my stash and I had pulled out some fabrics that would work with the colours that I have in the kit. Not with anything particular in mind, just looking to see what I had, and I have this beautiful velvety one. This comes from a sample book. It's a haberdashery shop here in my local town and they had these sample books. I got a few of them and I love the variety and the quality of the fabrics that came in them. But I think this is the perfect colour to go with our kit. So let's cover one of our envelopes with it, and why not? Now, see this pattern on the inside and I quite like it. I like it. It reminds me of snow, which is great for what we're doing. But then we have this very plain flap and I'm not sure I want that. So while I do want to get this covered with the fabric, I'm also wondering, should I do the inside of it as well, and if so, should I do that before I cover it with the fabric? All of these considerations. I think I will go ahead and do the fabric covering first and then cover the inside if I want. Yeah, I think I'll probably just do a partial liner like I did with the other one. Now this is also a process that I have done before on my channel. I will try to link the video up here for you guys. I've been having issues with the links not appearing in my videos even though I have put them in there. So I will try to link it up there. I can't guarantee that it will be there. But I think the video is the 3 ways to use fabric in your journals. And you will see this process there as well. But I am going to go through it quickly with you guys today as well. Okay, so in my other video, I actually used heat and bond to attach the fabric. I'm not going to do that here. I feel that the fabric is thick enough that the glue isn't going to seep through it. So we're going to go straight on with the glue. So do go and check out the other video if you want to see a different method to do this. Yeah, okay. So let's get the glue onto our envelope. Opening the whole thing, and I'm going to use my tacky glue, but I'm going to use a spreader with it to speed the process along. I'm not sure how the Yes paste does on fabric, so that is why I'm not using that here. Okay, so now I know that's sticking to my mat as well, so we're going to get that up, don't worry. So like that. Now I'm going to get this under some books to dry. And let's have a look at our last envelope. So we have a large plain white envelope. Now we could open it up, and I am going to open it up and just lay it on one of our pages if it will fit. We shall see. I think I may have actually made that. I did too. Ah, that's very good. I couldn't tell the difference between an envelope that I had made and an envelope that I had bought. How cool is that? Okay, and let's see, will that fit on an A4? It won't. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to use a similar process as I used for the first one. I'm going to choose some pieces of paper and get all of the surfaces covered. I have chosen to use this little heart here as the point of the envelope, so that's going to be very sweet. So I'm going to get that cut out. I'll actually probably just get this covered and I'll come back and show you guys, okay? Okay, you guys, so I have finally gotten this one. This one has given me quite a bit of trouble, but we got it done. So we have the flap with the lovely heart on the point. I love that. And on the inside we have our cute little foxes. The diamond pattern here. Now I will actually point out as well, I have a lot of test prints in my bundle for the kit, so there may be some things here that aren't exactly the same as are in the kit, or that might not appear in the kit at all. Like this background, I'm not sure that I gave this as a freebie or if I gave it in the kit or if I gave it at all, but it is part of the kit in the sense that it is the background for this page, things like that. But you know, just work away with what is in the kit and you will get some beautiful envelopes here. Now on the other side I have used this piece from one of the pages. We do have the ears of the little fox down here, but I will just run a strip of washi tape or lace or something. And also up along here, this edge went a bit funny on me because I forgot to put my hinge in, had to peel it back, yada yada yada. So you got spared all of that. I need to trim down my hinge as well. It is not as short as it should be. But yeah, so the other two went perfectly, don't know, well the other one anyway, and this one is looking good as well. It is still quite wet, so I'm not going to try cutting it out or anything right now, but yeah, they're shaping up to be quite good, and this one turned out really nicely. Okay, so that is it for today. We have the base of our folio put together. Whoop. And we have the plan for what we're doing in here. So that and the other one, they'll all be in there. And yeah, and we'll work from there. So in the next video, we will continue on with our Gatefold folio, our Christmas Cuties Gatefold folio. Okay guys, that is it from me for today. Hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Till the next video. Bye.